What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Lion, and I talk about dating and relationships from a man's perspective, specifically catered to women. So if that's something that you're into or you want to learn more about that, please consider subscribing to this channel. So in this series, I basically answer one of the most, or some of the most asked questions that women have about dating. And in today's video, I decided to give you guys a special treat. So a few days ago, this new-ish client of mine has sent me a video on Instagram, and she titled it like, sorry, but that's how I feel about dating sometimes. And I wanted to share it with you guys, and then I wanted to discuss, because I know for a fact that, you know, she shares the same sentiment as a lot of other people and women and men do. So let me play it for you, and then we'll quickly discuss.
And has to go on dates. I am not equipped to go on dates. The last time I was single, I was 24 and the dating pool was everyone. And now it's like a shallow puddle of age-appropriate men who are old and gross, and I don't want to do that.
I know that you think that it's that bad, but honestly, it's a lot worse.
It's a lot worse. The movie is called The Other Woman. Yeah, the movie is called The Other Woman, and it's Leslie Mann and Cameron Diaz. So, obviously not sponsored or anything, but I just wanted to let you know if you guys wanted to watch this movie. But the idea is that, you know, dating is just like much, much, much worse these days, is a sentiment that I feel like, you know, a lot of men, both as a lot of women, you know, subscribe to, and they feel like that's the reality, that dating today in 2024 or whatever, you know, whatever year you're watching this, maybe 2025, that dating is just like more difficult than it used to be, you know, before. And in a lot of ways, you know what I mean? Like I would first say that, yes, it's probably is more difficult, but it has nothing to do with today's, like the year, right? It's not because it's 2024 or 2025 or whatever year, right? That dating is more difficult. But it is because chances are you are not, you know, in your early 20s anymore. Right? When we are in our 20s, right? And it doesn't matter when it is, right? Whether it was in the 1990s or 1980s or 70s or whatever, you know, obviously dating is going to be easier if we're in our 20s. Why? Just like some of the things that you mentioned in that video. The dating pool is literally everyone. You are on a daily basis interacting with a bunch of people who are, you know, single, right? Because chances are that if they're in their 20s, they're not, you know, married, they don't have kids, they're not, you know what I mean? Like they're single, most of them are going to be single in their early 20s. We also do things on a regular basis that expose us to a lot more people that are our age. Do you know what I mean? We meet new people on a pretty regular basis. In our 20s, let's say if we're still, like, I don't know, or even earlier, right? If we're in high school, we're meeting a ton of people, right? Everybody's our age, everybody's available, nobody's married, everybody's available to date, everybody wants to date, everybody wants to be in a relationship, right? And then we go to college and the same thing happens, and then we maybe, you know, complete college and then we start our jobs. And again, when we start our jobs, usually even if we work either throughout college or after college, a lot of the jobs that we're going to get are jobs that are literally designed for people who are our age, entry-level positions in companies that, you know what I mean? Like we're also doing a lot of activities, chances are, that expose us, like whether that's the gym or all of these things. Again, we are on a daily basis, on a regular basis at least, are exposed to a bunch of people who are our age and who are also single. So yes, it is much easier to date 20 years ago, but not, or 10 years ago, or whatever, 30 years ago, but not because today's 2024 and it was easier. And people say, oh, it's because dating apps these days, or it's because this, or it's because that, or social media. None of this is true, okay? Everything is changing. The world is always changing, right? And we always have to adapt to the new technologies. We also have to adapt to the new, you know, socioeconomic, you know, situations and all, you know, the opportunities as well as limitations of today's day and age. That's just a fact. It did not make them easier. It did not make it more difficult. But yes, the fact that I am, people, you know, that person in the video, right? She is now not 24 anymore, and she's probably somewhere in her, you know, I don't know, early 40s, I would assume, or mid 40s. You know, it's definitely more difficult. Why? Because all of these things that we had in our early 20s or earlier than that, we don't have anymore, right? Chances are that we meet a lot more people who have baggage, right? Chances are, right? Because like in our 40s, if we want to meet people who are, around the same age as us, there's going to be more baggage that we didn't have in our 20s because we were single up until that point, right? We didn't go through a divorce or two or a breakup or all of these things. We don't have kids that we share custody of. Like we don't have all of these things. So yes, it's more difficult, right? We have way more responsibilities that we did. We have way less time than we did. We don't meet as many people, right? Most of us get into these like comfortable lives when we don't put ourselves outside of our comfort zones. We kind of do the things that we do, and that's it. So if we go to the same job, we meet the same people. A lot of us right now, especially after the pandemic, work from home. You know what I mean? Like we don't meet as many people. We like, order everything in. We Uber, everywhere. So we don't get exposed. We don't go out as often because we have responsibilities. Maybe we have kids. Do you know what I mean? Or we just don't have the energy or the time to do that because of work and other responsibilities. So again, yes, it is more difficult for a bunch of reasons, right? So what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to. I want you to learn the right lesson and not the wrong lesson here. While dating might be more difficult, just like anything else, number one, it is definitely not impossible, and there are plenty. Just based on my personal experience, my experience with my clients, I know for a fact that it is not possible, and people are building healthy relationships on a daily basis, right? So it's not impossible. It is more difficult, just like so many things become more difficult the older we get. Do you know what I mean? But there's always going to be two types of people. There are those who are going to just say, it's too hard, and therefore I should not try at all and give up. And by the way, the only person that you're punishing when you do that is yourself, right? Because deep down, you know that you would rather be in a relationship, that you would rather be with someone, but you keep telling yourself these limiting beliefs and these stories that just basically make you feel better. You tell yourself, well, it's impossible anyway, so why even try? Just like a lot of people do with so many other things, whether it's their career or their fitness or whatever, right? Working out or becoming, like fit or whatever, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, it's way more difficult than in your 20s. In your 20s, it almost doesn't matter what you eat. You know what I mean? And you'll have a six pack. It almost doesn't matter how much you exercise. You just basically just do a little bit and you get most of the results. Right? But exercising and trying to get fit or whatever in your 30s, late 30s especially, or 40s or 50s, you know what I mean? Like you get gassed out pretty quickly. You get tired a lot more often. Again, you have a lot of more responsibilities that you have to, take care of. You literally are in pain after every time you work out. You know what I mean? Like it's way more difficult, but is it impossible? Absolutely not. There are plenty of people who are doing it. There are plenty of people who advocate for it. It's definitely possible. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, right? So first of all, I just want to say it's not impossible. And you can either, again, be one of those who just create these limiting beliefs and these stories that you keep telling yourself that just basically make you feel better about the fact that you're not getting what you really want, or you can put in the effort and do it anyway, right? I like the saying, I don't know if you guys ever watched that video, right? I don't want to look for it right now, but like there's this video that talks about like you have to like choose your hard, right? That everything is hard. And you have to make sure that you decide which hard you prefer and which hard you, allow yourself to live through. So, it says something along the lines of like, it's very hard to, be disciplined with yourself and let's say eat right. It's very hard to make sure that you stick to a steady and a consistent regimen of what you eat. It's very hard not to eat the foods that you really like to eat. It's very hard to wake your butt up every morning before you go to work and wake up super early and make your way to the gym and work out. And you know what I mean? It's hard. It's very hard to stay consistent at the gym even after injuries and after this and life gets in the way and your kids and all of these and your career and all of these. It's hard, right? It's hard. And the older we get, the harder it gets. It is hard, but it is also hard to be underweight, to not have a whole bunch of medical issues, to, struggle with the fact that there's certain activities, certain things that you cannot do because you're not in shape, right? It's also as hard. You have to choose which hard do you prefer. It is hard to date maybe in your 40s. It's hard in your 50s, your late 30s sometimes. It might be hard, but it's also hard to wake up every morning and not have that, friendship, that companionship, that support system, that relationship that you want. You know what I mean? Not being able to engage with someone romantically, physically, on many levels, right? It is also hard. It's also hard to wake up every morning and say, like, I really want this, but I'm not getting this, right? I don't have this. It's hard. So you have to choose which hard, like you want to deal with. Either way, it's going to be hard. right? Nobody's going to lie to you, and it's not supposed to be easy. The things that are, that are really worthwhile in life, whether that's a healthy relationship, or that's a successful career, or a good level of fitness, or whatever that thing, right? You want to get a six pack. Everything that's worthwhile, everything that's really important, is hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it was easy, then we wouldn't want it this much. It's supposed to be hard. So get over yourselves. You know what I mean? Like this whole perspective, what I don't want you to learn, like, yes, it might be harder, right? But it shouldn't encourage you not to do anything, but rather it should encourage you. And this is what my channel and my coaching programs and everything is really all about. It should encourage you to say, yes, I understand. I accept the fact that yes, dating today, whatever, how old you are, and at 45, at 50, whatever, is harder than dating was when I was, 25, 23, 24. You know what I mean? Because obviously for all of these reasons that we talked about earlier in this video. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to just not do it. It means that I need to, which I didn't need in my 20s. Today, I might need a little bit more strategy. Today, I need to learn a little bit more about being a little bit more strategic about where and how I meet people. Be a little bit more strategic with how I set boundaries. Be a little bit more strategic and understand how to communicate at the early stages of dating in order to nurture attraction. Be a little bit more strategic about, the types of people that I want to meet. People that have similar values, similar beliefs, similar goals, right? All of these things that I talk about, we just need to become a little bit more aware of these things, and we become a little bit more strategic when we apply these things. Right? We're not at 22, like you could do nothing and literally like not even try to date, but you'll end up somehow in a relationship just because it's literally all around you all day long, every day, right? And everybody just wants to be in relationships, and it's easy, right? But today, you might need to put in a little bit more effort. So don't learn the wrong lesson, because if you learn the lesson, like what I feel like comes out from what she's saying, I haven't watched the whole movie to know what was the whole story, right? But I know for a fact that if you develop this angry, this negative perspective about men or about dating in general, right? That's what you'll continue attracting, right? If you're going out there and you're just negative, like, I don't want to meet, and people are horrible, and there's like you went from a pool to like a shallow puddle, as she called it. You know what I mean? Like if that's the perspective, like what do you think you're going to attract? Right? If that's the energy that you have every time you meet someone new, every time you go to a place, every time you connect, and you're just going to basically make sure that you are just continuously attracting the exact same thing that you're so desperately trying to avoid by developing that negativity and allowing it to roam, allowing it to take over your entire, like your entire perspective, your entire mood, and how you interact with other people. Whether you realize it or not, it's going to be there. That energy, people are going to feel it on you. I'm sure that if you're watching this, like I'm sure that you've met people like that. They're just negative. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to spend time with them. You definitely don't want to be in a relationship with them. You definitely don't want to go on dates with them. You definitely don't want to open up to them. You definitely don't want to, you know what I mean? So if don't allow yourself to learn the wrong lesson. Yes, it is more difficult, right? But you need to. And one more thing that I want to say, right? My entire coaching programs are based on the fact that I don't want you to think that it's going to be this endless uphill battle and it's going to be so hard and it's going to be, you know what I mean, like so challenging, and you're going to hate every step of the way, but eventually you'll build the relationship that you want. That's the wrong perspective to have, right? The only way to reach and make sure that we reach our goals, the only way to reach our destinations and where we want to be, right, whether in dating or our business or fitness or whatever it is in our lives, is to find a way, right? And this is where my coaching is really, targeted towards, is to find a way to learn to enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process, you know what they say, like the person who goes and reaches their destination is not the one who wants it the most, but rather the one who just enjoys the walk. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to enjoy the process. You have to learn how to enjoy online dating. You have to learn how to enjoy offline dating. You have to learn how to enjoy setting boundaries and getting to know people and everything along the way, and nurturing attraction and everything. You know what I mean? Like dealing with rejection, dealing with ghosting, everything in a way that you would enjoy the process. Right? And this is what my courses, this is what my one-on-one coaching is really just focused on. Not to tell you I'm going to guarantee that you're going to get there, but to guarantee that you're going to learn the tools in order to enjoy the process. That dating becomes fun. It becomes something that you want to do. Because if it's not something that you enjoy doing, chances are you won't do it long enough in order to get to where you want to get. If every time you go to the gym, you hate it, you're like, I hate every minute of the entire process of going to the gym, chances are you're not going to do it long enough in order to get the six pack or whatever it is, put on weight, lose weight, whatever it is that you want to do, chances are you won't do it long enough. That's why you see like most people that you talk about that they're going to the gym, like literally, I love the gym. I love going every second. I enjoy it. And maybe they didn't on the first try. Maybe they didn't the first month. Maybe they didn't enjoy the gym or whatever they were doing the first year. But eventually you keep with it. You learn to enjoy the process. It becomes fun. It becomes, you know what I mean? Like this fun game that you're playing in order to, you know what I mean, get the results that you want to get. So again, I understand for a fact that like a lot of people, right, are under the impression that it's such a bleak and terrible, right, dark place that dating is just like this. Like, what did you call it? Like a shallow pool of just like these horrible people, right? But that perspective is only going to get you to see exactly that, right? To see what you're trying to avoid. So learn how to enjoy the process and don't learn the wrong lesson. Just because something is harder doesn't necessarily mean it's impossible. And like I said, everything that's worthwhile, to be honest with you, is going to be to a certain extent hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to make a lot of money. It's hard to, you know what I mean, be successful. It's hard to be consistent. It's hard to, you know, build a clientele. And it's all of that is hard. That's the whole point. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Yes, it's hard. But you know what I mean? It should only like the perspective you should come with it is like, yeah, it should motivate you to do it even more rather than saying, oh, since it's hard, I'm not going to do it at all. Like so many people like comment things like that on my channel sometimes. Yeah, but that's too hard. What are you talking about? I agree with it, but that's too hard. I'm like, yeah, well, okay. What's your point? It's supposed to be. Nobody said it's supposed to be easy. You know what I mean? And if you go through your life only doing the things that are easy, I don't know you, but I can safely assume that you are majorly unhappy with most of these things in your life if you only do the things that feel easy to you at whatever moment, right? It's supposed to be hard. So hopefully this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel? Does this video that I showed you earlier, does this align with your current, you know, beliefs, with your current thoughts or your current feelings about dating? Do you have another perspective? Did this video that I just recorded, did this video change that in any way or form? Let me know in the comments. I'll wait to read them. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in my next video.